Okay, so yes, like Fred said, this particular experience is going to incorporate some writing. And we know that writing is a process and that breaking down that process is going to help support students. We're going to focus on narratives for this first piece of our activity. And one critical feature of narratives are descriptive words. So in a moment, we're going to observe a land snail up close with Fred's camera. And as we're observing, write down any descriptive words on a piece of paper or in a notebook or even in the chat box that you are feeling describes the observations you're making. And then later, we'll use those words to help us compose our narrative. Now, because this session is focused on TK2, for pre-writers, this might look a little bit different. So we might ask pre-writers to just say their descriptive words out loud if this is happening in a synchronous setting. Or if there's someone helping the TK2 second grade student, they could always jot down those descriptive words for them as well. So I'm going to unshare my screen now so we can see our land snail here. Awesome, there we go. All right, so like Fred said, even though we're the ones with the materials and we're the ones kind of facilitating or managing the materials, you are still in the driver's seat. So let us know what you would like to see in the chat box. So if you want to see an up close zoom in kind of screen, then you can ask us for that. If you want to see the snail on other surfaces, I believe we have sandpaper and foil and paper. I think
soil.
Fred. Yeah, that's what that is. Nice. We've got some soil. So please let us know in the chat box what it is you'd like to see, and then just be recording those descriptive words. Ooh, interesting question from Henry. Can we measure the snail? Do you happen to have a ruler by you, Fred, or is that something we can gather next time?
I have my little fingers. That's a device that you can use.
There you go. Nice. So for scale, that's super helpful. Thank you. And another request to see the bottom of the snail's foot. So if we could hold that clear plate up, that would be awesome. Yeah, there we go. Great. Awesome. That's a great view. Yeah. And what are some descriptive words that are coming up for us as we're observing? Feel free to share those in the chat box as well. We've got another request about how does it feel? It looks bumpy. That's a nice descriptive word.
The shell feels lovely, like very smooth. The body feels cool and also smooth. I don't know the bumps on it, but you can see them.
Great. Is it slimy? We've got a question about whether it's slimy.
It was slippery, and then as we're working, let's see if we can see any slime trails that it leaves behind.
Awesome. And we've got some other nice descriptive words: shiny, sticky, hard parts, tan shades, brown tones, yellowish. Oh, that's great with the zoom in. So Fred, are you using your camera right now?
Yes.
Great. So Fred's using a camera, and then that magnifying lens helps us get a lot closer. Yami also asked if we could see the eyes and is wondering if it's asymmetrical as well. Oh, that's great. Yeah, so we're getting kind of a close-up view of the tentacles. Ooh, that was cool.
He's crawling, he or she is crawling off the plate and now feeling around on the surface. That's a piece of paper it's touching.
Nice. Yeah, we've got some fun comments in the chat box. What does it taste like? Students will likely want to know. Good question. And yes, please no cooking our snails. Noticing some good questions are coming up in the chat box as well. Some that we might be able to investigate and others we might just have to do a little research. Can we see the whorls on the shell, Fred? We had a request for that.
I'll try to get that, the lighting right.
Oh, there you go. That's great. Yeah, and a nice question from Dennis. Are the patterns on the shells the same?
Let's look at another one.
Hmm. Yeah, what are we noticing? Any descriptive words we'd like to share about our snail shells? Hmm. Yeah, some really nice questions about what are the things sticking out of its head? Are the shell swirls left, right, both? Are they different sizes? Oh, question, why are they different sizes? Yeah, and from Yami, not much color, a translucent foot, different colors, really nice descriptions there. Ah, nice. We've got one snail in a cup now. Other things that you would like us to try or that you would like to see up close? Mm. Ooh, can we put them on the sandpaper? Juanita's wondering if we can put them on the sandpaper, one of them. And another that says, how does it react in soil? So maybe we could put one more on the soil and then just watch those snails.
This is a three-handed job.
Yeah, thank you, Fred.
And what
Yeah.
do, I'm going to put it down, but I'm going to spray it with some water.
Mm.
And that tends to make them active.
Great.
I'm hoping. Snails are slow.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Fred. That's a nice view of both of them. Yeah, we've got a couple questions we might be able to answer now. Fred, do you want to talk a little bit about why the water makes them active and whether these are the same as garden snails?
These are garden snails. We did order them from a biological supply company in Sacramento called Niles Biological, but if you got them from your yard, it'd likely be this species. And snails actually breathe through their skin. And so when it starts to rain, if they get caught in a puddle, they will suffocate, they'll drown. And so whenever they feel water on them, like it's about to rain, they move and they try to move away from the water and actually try to climb to high ground. So it's just a nice behavioral kind of adaptation, but it also allows us when we want them to move around in a classroom, you just spray them with water and they get going.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Fred. And I'm noticing some questions in the chat box just about, does it hurt if they travel on the sandpaper? And so thanks for questions about the snails' well-being. They are okay. They're very resilient creatures. And Fred's been taking really good care of them, but we'll make sure we include a resource on snail care in our resources as well. And I am seeing some questions about what do they eat, which I'm so pleased about. And hang on to those questions because we'll investigate that further.
And thanks again for asking about their care. We always, when you do work with living things, want to emphasize that we treat them humanely. And snails are pretty hardy. And so pretty much anything that they can crawl on pretty much anything with without getting harmed. And they can eat pretty much anything we can. The one thing to watch out for are chemicals and things like that. And there's actually a lot of activities if you go online saying, oh, cover your snail in tempera paint and then it'll make a little drawing for you. But don't do anything like that unless the paint or the substance that you put them in is edible, not non-toxic, but edible. Okay.
That's great. Thank you, Fred, for sharing. Yeah, I think it's also really, really interesting. We've got a observation that the one from the soil or the dirt moved to the sandpaper. and then almost off the sandpaper.
Now it's heading for
Um,
the hills.
oh, that's great. Yeah, so maybe 1 or 2 more minutes. Anything else we would like to see or try, or any other descriptive words that are coming to mind and that you'd like to share in the chat box? Hmm, good question. Does the sandpaper seem to slow them down, or do they like the texture? Can you hear them move, or are they social? I know that when the snails are feeding, I can hear them like munching. Um, but I don't know if I always hear them move. Fred, can you hear anything right now?
No, they're remarkably quiet while they move, but like Kelsey says, they're pretty noisy when they eat.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, and they sure. Go ahead, Fred.
they do seem social, at least these two.
I was going to say the exact same thing. Yes, fascinating. Good question, Henry. I don't actually know this. Are these the types of snails that are the same as like the edible, like the specialty? Fred,
Yeah,
do you know?
probably more info than you need, but long ago in the gold rush days, some French people missing their homeland imported snails from France, and they escaped, and these are the snails that we have in California. They are escargot.
That is great to know. Thank you.